Hello, fans and friends. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Astrokara, and I'm recording this on February 20th, the day of the Neptune-Saturn conjunction at 0 degrees Aries, which is often referred to as the world point. So welcome to the initiation. And I did a separate video for Neptune and Aries called Spirit in Motion, and I'll link it. But today I wanted to focus on Saturn's transit through Aries, as this will be taking us through the next 2 to 2.5 years. You know how when we were kids and we were playing and someone would say a hard and fast rule, and we would respond with, "Who says?" Now is the time to use that same mentality. When you hear external rules and begin to question them, who says? Who told you that that was true? And is it still true for you? And if you've been feeling restless, frustrated, like you're supposed to be moving forward, but something seems to keep slowing you down, you may be beginning to feel the pressure that Saturn is now applying. So over these next couple years, and especially if you're moving into a Saturn return, the question is no longer, what do I want? It's more specific. Am I strong enough, stable enough, mature enough to hold what I say I want? This is the discipline of becoming. Saturn represents karmic accountability, structure, and maturity. Aries represents instinct, desire, the raw spark of I am. And when Aries wants to leap, Saturn says, strengthen your platform first. When Aries says, I'm ready, Saturn says, show me. So this is evolutionary pressure around identity and will. With Saturn in Aries, we are learning how to act without reacting, how to assert without aggression, and how to initiate without unchecked impulsivity. If you have natal Saturn in Aries, or Saturn in your first house, early life themes often include a blocked self-expression. And this leads to fear of taking initiative, or conversely, overcompensating through defensiveness or hyperindependence. Anger becomes a central teacher here. Anger is an emotion that brings us data. And it's often related to distorted desire, a life force that hasn't been directed. Saturn in Aries is asking, can you train your will instead of being ruled by it? So when I think about how to work with Saturn in Aries, I'm thinking about my own current experience. I have natal Mars in Aries, and Saturn is doing some work with me. And I'll be sharing in a separate video about what I'm calling the Thrivuary Method. This is my updated coaching program, formerly called Catalyst. I've created a new framework for really getting into our inner work. And this is a living example of Saturn and Aries at work in my life. So let's dig into some of this. These next couple years are going to be about practicing resisting our compulsion to react to external pressures and to begin to move through life more consciously. The first phase of the Thrivuary Method is the observer phase. And here it's about witnessing the fire. Before you try to fix or force anything, simply begin to observe your patterns around impulsivity, anger, fear of initiating something new, where you might be avoiding taking leadership, and where there might be some overcompensation through trying to control your environment. You can ask yourself questions like, where am I hesitating because I fear failure? Where do I rush into things or rush myself because I fear losing control? And where am I confusing urgency with alignment? Saturn slows the Aries energy down so that we can begin to see ourselves more clearly. And the observer phase is just about noticing where our will is still immature, but without shame. The second phase is the architect phase. And I've called this here, build the container. And this is where Saturn actually thrives, because Saturn is the container. It is the structure and the framework. So instead of trying to feel confident, build competence first. Choose one area of your life that requires strong self-leadership and create a structure around it. Maybe begin to commit to a new physical discipline. Aries rules the body. Create a longer-term goal and break it into smaller, realistic steps. Practice direct and clean boundary setting. Aries is raw fire, and we can think of Saturn as the forge. And the architect phase is asking, what systems support the identity I'm working to grow into? Because this transit, and especially if it's your Saturn return, will test anything that's built simply on impulse. It rewards consistency. And the third phase is one of my favorites, the alchemist phase. And this is about becoming self-directed. This is where the integration happens. When we're no longer reacting to these pressures we're using it and directing it. Anger becomes an instrument of clarity. Desire becomes direction, and fear becomes fuel. Because the alchemist understands, I am responsible for my life force. This is what I call disciplined sovereignty. It's not about domination, not about proving yourself. It's about self-governance. So just a note, if you are approaching your Saturn return, this is where Saturn comes back to your natal position. And this happens around the ages of 27 to 30, and again around 58 to 60. And this is a time where you're being asked, where have you matured in this archetype? This becomes about identity reckoning. And all of us experiencing this transit may begin to feel pressure to start something independently. Maybe to leave situations where we've been too passive. There may be opportunities for us to step into leadership and really to stop outsourcing our decisions. We are being asked to confront where we are avoiding starting new things, or maybe to review where we've acted recklessly in the past. But here's the gift of doing this inner work for this transit. By the end, we won't need this external validation to move. You begin to trust your own timing, to trust your own direction, and to trust your capacity. Because you've tested yourself against reality. So as I talked about in Neptune in Aries, not drowning our fire, Saturn in Aries is not about suppressing this fire or desire. It's about refining and directing it. So over these next couple years, we're being asked to grow up around will, to act more deliberately, to build more sustainably, and to choose more consciously. This fire under pressure becomes our strength. And we can remind ourselves that when it feels intense, it's because we're being forged. So that question of, can I have what I want? Becomes, am I willing to become the person who can sustain it? That's the work. And if you're in it, you're right on time. So based on where you are, here's some thoughts on your next step. If you're in the observer phase, where you're starting to realize that you've been reacting instead of responding, simply start by witnessing your patterns. Awareness is the first initiation. If you're in the architect phase and you're ready to build structure around this fire, book a one-on-one session with me to give you some direction. We'll create some support for this identity that you're growing into. This is where will becomes strategy. And if you're in the alchemist phase, if you're already leading, initiating, and shedding those old identities, and you're ready for a deeper integration, I encourage you to apply for my Thrivuary mentorship. Let's refine your sovereignty and align your next move. Thanks for being here. If this content is valuable to you, please like the video, subscribe, and share with someone who you know is also on this path. You can check out my work at astrokara.com, and I'll leave links in the description. Until next time, take care of you.